Okay, so the next thing we need to do is create a sequence that sits in our timeline panel. To do that, we go to File, New, Sequence. We can pretty much select any one we want here. These will all work fine, they're just presets, but I like to create my own presets and I will show you how to do that. Right now we have this selected. We'll go into Settings, Editing Mode, HDV 1080p. Now this is a preset that has been created. Let's go to Custom, our time base. This is dependent on the footage you have, so I will be working with 23.976 footage, so that is what I will create the sequence with. Now we don't want that. We want to create a 1920 by 1080 with a regular pixel aspect ratio. So let's change our frame size here to 1920. And then we will change our pixel aspect ratio to square, which is 1.0, which means each pixel is as wide as it is tall. So it's square. That creates our 16:9 ratio, which is what we want for high definition footage. We want a progressive scan. Display format, 23.976, that's great. Audio, 48 is fine. Video previews, now this depends on your system. I like to use QuickTime, and then I like to use H.264. And the width is 1920 by 1080. Now you don't need to select maximum bit depth or maximum render quality. You can do that, but this is all previews, so it won't affect the actual export of your project. To save our 1920 by 1080 preset, we go to Save Preset. We'll call it 1080p for progressive. And then we will call it 23.976. Now we can add some more details if we'd like, but for now it's fine. We will go to OK. And now once it loads, you will notice that at the bottom it creates a custom folder with our new preset created. From here we can create new presets if we want. So for our purposes, let's just create them all right now. We'll click on this, we'll go to Settings. Everything will be the same, we can just work off this. So frame size, right now we'll create a 720p one, which is higher than standard definition quality but lower than full HD. So frame size will be 1280, and this will be 720. So we have 1280 pixels wide by 720 tall. Aspect ratio will be the same, and now you notice because we've changed this has also been changed. So let's go to Save Preset. We'll call this one 720p 23.976. And once again, once it loads, in the custom folder, you will see the 720p preset. Okay, so now all of these will stay the same for 4K, except for the frame size, which will be changed to 2160 by 3840. And you'll notice that this hasn't been changed to the full 4K resolution. It's because we have H.264 selected. We need to have something else selected because this is the maximum that we can use with H.264 in our video previews. So in order to change it, let's go to Animation or Apple ProRes. So we'll go Apple ProRes 422 HQ, and then we'll be able to enter in what we'd like. 3840 by 2160. Okay, so let's save the preset. We'll call this, we can either call it 4K HD or 2160p. So I like to use 4K HD, 23.976. Okay, now we will create a standard definition preset. Okay, so let's change our vertical to 480. And now with a square pixel aspect ratio, we can set this to 640. Now, some people like to set it up as NTSC 0.9. If you do that, then you'll need to change this to 720 to maintain this. It does the exact same thing. It's just using a different pixel aspect ratio. So I like to keep things always square, so 640. Let's go to Save Preset. We'll call it 480p, 23.976. If your footage is a different frame rate, such as 29 or 30, then it's as simple as going to settings and changing your time base to whichever frame rate you'd like to work with. For us, we will be working with HD footage, so we will click on 1080p, click OK, and now you'll see that in our timeline, our sequence has been created. Okay, we can go into our project window, click on our sequence that we just created, press enter, and then give it a name. You can call it whatever you'd like. For our purposes, we will just call it 1080p edit. And you've noticed that the change here has happened.